Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is August 15th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite here across the region. You can see some low clouds banked up against the Washington, Oregon coastline here. You can see this low clouds come through the Strait of Juan de Fuca towards Whidbey Island, San Juan. So much of this activity will burn off today as we warm up a little bit around the region. You can see this forest fire smoke from the White River fire kind of sliding down the valley there. There's forest fire activity across the Oregon Cascades and across the Rockies as well, but we're not doing too bad overall. No imminent smoke storm across the region. We will introduce some convection here Wednesday, Thursday across the area, so hopefully it doesn't start kicking off a bunch of forest fires across the region, but so far so good this year. Now checking out the Pacific Northwest, generally devoid of thunderstorms today, but tomorrow, look at this monsoon moisture move up through the Oregon Cascades here. Wednesday, a little bit further, this could reach the Washington Cascades as well. And by Thursday, this will reach the Washington Cascades all the way up towards British Columbia as we bring a chance of convection across the region, even a chance for a stray thunderstorm across the lowlands. As of right now, things could still change. We'll continue to monitor that as we go. Look at Seattle yesterday, 82, average high 78, the record high of 88 on the 18th May fall. We're forecast to be at 89 or 90 for SeaTac that day, so we could set an all-time daily record high there. Now looking at the GFS, here's the deterministic. This is the initial conditions, what best we understand them, and you can see good confidence here on this ridge building now. Very warm days west of the Cascades Wednesday, Thursday before we cool down and bring that onshore flow across the region. GFS keeps this trough around for a bit, but tries to build another ridge here across Canada and through the Intermountain West. Swings that trough through, then starts to build some ridging out across the Pacific Ocean here and builds a ridiculously strong ridge across the Gulf of Alaska here in the extended. Hopefully it's not onto something here with a ridge placed there. Would be, a pretty good heat wave for the region there. And, I know a lot of people are getting tired of this heat wave talk and want to get back to some normal weather around here. So hopefully this ridge is kind of off in fantasy land, which at this point it is. Here's the European. Let's fast forward in through Wednesday, Thursday. There's that ridge. Good agreement with the GFS there. Brings that onshore flow Friday. And as we go on in through the weekend and early next week, it's that trough activity kind of on the coastline would keep us seasonable. But at the end of the European run here, you can see it kind of building some ridging here again through the extended August forecast. We'll continue to monitor that. The models have been hinting at some ridging returning later on through the period as well. Now, taking a look here, this is the wind at 925 millibars, 2,500 feet. You can kind of see as we go through Wednesday morning, this offshore flow pattern across British Columbia, Washington, Oregon. This is what's going to help warm us up across the region there. As we go through Thursday morning, one more day of offshore flow before it turns onshore later that evening on Thursday. And that's when we're going to get our best chance for some convection Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening across the region here. And then we kick this onshore flow. You can see these westerly winds making their way all the way into eastern Washington, but it's still going to be pretty warm over there. We'll take a look at what's some of these temperatures we can expect across the region over there. So looking here, you can see for Monday today, you can see those temperatures for eastern Washington really starting to heat up again towards the upper 90 mark there. And as we go on into Tuesday here, check this out. We're starting to get into some low 100s over there in eastern Washington, upper 80s, maybe around 90 Willamette Valley, and probably 80s Seattle South as we go through Tuesday. Then we start to really warm things up as we go through Wednesday here. You can see eastern Washington starts getting well up into the hundreds here, and you can see even Portland floating with some upper 90s. And at this point on Wednesday, you're probably dealing with mid-80s Seattle South. A little bit better, of course, if you go north of Seattle, which is typically the deal here as we get some northwest winds kind of moving down here, keeping things a little bit cooler, especially in the proximity of the Puget Sound. And then as we go on through Thursday, probably the warmest day, you can see Seattle is probably going to be flirting with 90 here. And again, cooler if you go north. But look at eastern Washington just really baking in this heat here coming up Wednesday and Thursday. Portland's going to be very warm, also mid and upper 90s possible. There is some relief along the coastline as well, but it's a little bit easier said than done to just be able to jump out to the coast on a whim. As we go through Friday, you'll see the temperatures drop a little bit, back down towards 100 for the Columbia Basin. Seattle and Portland cool off a bit. So that will help as we go through on the day Friday. And again, we'll take a look at the convection now. Here's the NAM 3KM, actually 12 kilometer NAM. This goes out a little bit further, 84 hours. As we go through tomorrow afternoon, you can see some of that instability build up along the Cascades there. Then this kind of builds up a little bit more. Wednesday, you can see some instability all the way up through the Washington Cascades. But look at Thursday. Check this out. Some of the Cape values are going up across western Oregon, Washington, into western BC. So there is going to be some thunderstorm potential with this activity as it moves up from the south in a monsoon moisture pattern. Look at precipitable water here. We're going to speed ahead a little bit here. Here we go into Tuesday afternoon. You can see this monsoon moisture creeping out of the southwest towards us here. And as we go through the afternoon Wednesday, look at this, it already encompasses all the Oregon Cascades by Wednesday evening, even starting to move into western Washington a bit. And by Thursday, you can see this extend well up into the Cascades and British Columbia by this point. So here goes that monsoon moisture. And that's eventually going to get kicked out by this marine air as it pushes inland here later on the evening and nighttime on Thursday into Friday morning will end that threat for western portions. Now, taking a look here, Portland International, yesterday afternoon's European run. You can see mid-90s possible Wednesday and Thursday here before we get a little bit of a cool down as we go on in through Friday and the weekend here. And we'll continue to look at that extended forecast as well, but right now models are still in flux. Seattle-Tacoma, you can see the European showing that August 18th here, Thursday, the warmest day probably. Looks like it might hit 90 on that day coming up before we cool down again as we go through the weekend coming up. Now look at the Tri-Cities, some ridiculous temperatures. I mean, look at this, well over 100 on Wednesday and Thursday, probably in the 106, 107 degree range before they cool back down towards 100 on Friday here. So some really warm temperatures coming up here. You can see these individual ensemble members here. And what if I can zoom in? I can't zoom in too much here. So anyway, you can see a lot of these temperatures, all these are above 100 as you look at the 50 individual ensemble runs here for the European model. And let me reset that to 100%. Now look at Vancouver International. A couple nice warm days. Pretty nice weather up there, really. I mean, you're talking about 25C is 77. So you're looking maybe low 80s for Vancouver International Airport up there. Pretty nice days before the marine push starts to bring their temperatures back down. 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. You can see eastern Washington, Oregon kind of bullseyed there. And you can see that monsoon season signal going on down there in the southwest. Here's the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook with that monsoon bullseye there. So yeah, we are looking at the possibility of some convection coming up here on Wednesday across the Cascades, Thursday all the way up through western Washington into BC here. We'll try to pinpoint just where that convection is going to occur. The European did pretty good the last round of convection here, so it'll be interesting to see as we get a little bit closer to the event just exactly where it says these thunderstorms could set up. And the real concern, of course, with these thunderstorms is kicking off new wildfires across the area. And of course, we've got a lot of weather watchers that love the thunderstorms that come through here. But really, that's kind of secondary to the forest fire activity that can be kicked off with these convective events. But again, monsoon moisture is going to make a little bit of a brief appearance here across Pacific Northwest. So hope you guys enjoy these days coming up here. Like today, it's going to be, it'll noticeably warm up as we go on in through Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll cool back down again Friday. So it looks like 2 hot days, or very warm days, if you will, for places west of the Cascades, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland, but 2 very, very hot days for eastern Washington, Oregon. The valley areas coming up here on Wednesday and Thursday before a little bit of a cool down as their hot summer over there continues. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you'd like to see. And we'll continue to watch this next convective event, possibly moving up in this monsoon moisture coming up here through midweek. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow.